Well, here we are. It's a little after 3 in the afternoon. It'd be the 4th day of September. And we've got a little new tool that we're going to play with and see if this does any attractability. You already seen that we didn't need attractability out of this blind, but just to put a little icing on the cake or another tool in the toolbox, I want to show you something. Now we got 2 decoy out there of the antelope in the shade, and one's facing one and one's looking at the other one, and that's what antelope normally do. So when hunters hunt over big ponds of water, they put duck decoys or geese decoys out on fields to lure the quarry out of the sky into a shooting range. So basically, when you look out on this big field, that's the sky per se. So what we're trying to do is condense those animals to gravitate over to these decoys as a social, because antelope are real social animals. They run in herds. So we're going to sit back and see how this turns out. We also have in this bag some cover scent. Now you can buy other bullshit over the counter, or you can get this fresh cow shit and horse shit for free. People run around urbanic in the urban areas picking up fresh dog poop, and so there ain't nothing wrong with just picking up fresh horse manure and cow manure. And that way we got a little north wind, and I want to disguise my stink with natural stink. And like I said, you can buy a lot of bullshit over the counter, but you can pick this up for free. Well, you're hunting on a working western cattle, sheep ranch, and the veterinarian is leaving right now. And so you're going to have to control your temperament. Here, let's see. Here we go. He should be going by here in just a second. In here. Hopefully that's the last intrusion that we'll have, but you're going to have the right state of mind to be mature enough and understand that you don't have this ranch to yourself. It's a working ranch. So don't get upset with the outfitter, Chuck, personally, because somebody drove down the road. It's no big deal. What I've done with that manure, I put it on this camouflage netting so it'll act like a scent wafer, and I want that scent to be up in the air and blow out onto the field. So I'll just tie that together and then tie it up on the blind and let the Mother Nature take the current wherever she takes it. Now we have our 2 scent bombs hung, and you can see the wind is blowing in a different direction. Sort of northeasterly, northern wind, and it would be blowing out onto that field. And the other night we had basically no wind, but you can see the bags swaying outward, and they're up high enough. Don't want them on the ground. You get them up here, and then that scent is blowing at the level of the antelope. They're not overly sensitive, but they will snort and stomp if they smell something really highly unusual, and that's the Achilles heel about some of these people that pee in these blinds. That's a no-go. Okay, when you're going to hunt, there are some essentials that you need to have. Spades is a must. When you get into a blind, as hard as the outfitter tries, he may not have that quite set to your person, your anatomy. So therefore you can groom it a little bit better. Level up the floor if you want to move your chair. Another thing that you're going to have, I think I went over it, is you're going to have something to hold your bow up in the ready position. And another thing also have is a follow-up arrow readily at your disposal. That way, if something should go awry and you need an arrow immediately, you can get it with your hand that's going to get the arrow. Don't put it in your bow hand. Put it in your shooting hand so you can reach down and pick it up. In other words, you're going to have to pull out your bow and grab it with your left or right hand or your bow hand, and that's not cool. That's a waste of time. Another thing, and this is really critical. In the blind, all blinds aren't created equal, as we all know. You want to check and make sure you got plenty of clearance to that roof, so that when you draw, you're not drawing your bow limb into the top of the roof. And another thing a lot of guys want to do, make sure, and this happens almost every year, that you're high enough to shoot over that window, not into it. Now, we got those two decoys out, and we're going to see firsthand if they have any magnetism from drawing this buck in any closer. Right now he's content to be out in the middle of the field with 2 bucks and 2 does. So, like I say, I know in turkey hunting and in waterfowl hunting they put more than 1 decoy on the field, so especially with a social animal, we'll just see what the return is on this. And you'll get to see right along with us. Like I said, we got these 2 antelope decoys here, and we'll just see if these bucks gravitate over to them. That'll bring them in to about 10 to 15 yards. And it's going to be cool because we got 2 bucks feeding this way right now. And we're just going to see how close they can get to these decoys. This buck antelope right here is staring right at that decoy. And this is going to be total excitement. See how he interacts as he comes. He's coming right toward him right now. I mean, he's giving that one to stare down big time. So, we're going to see what happens together on this. One doesn't care, but this guy definitely got that decoy on the radar. I may opt to shoot him. I'm going to have to see how it unfolds because, like I said, it's really a learning process here, and we'll just see how he approaches. But he's definitely staring at him right now. Okay, I've made the decision. If that particular antelope buck feeds up here, I'm not going to shoot him. I'm going to videotape his reaction to the decoy. Say, there's the decoys. That's the buck that's feeding toward them. So he's been staring at him, and he keeps encroaching, cutting the distance, and we're going to just see what happens firsthand together. And he'll be an award if we can lower him in there. It's about 5:30. We got some new bucks. We got some new bucks looking at these decoys. Well, They came, they looked. They got within 25 or 30 yards. Oh, 20, yeah, 25, 30 yards. Now as you notice, that cow shit blowing out toward, both of these bags are full of cow shit, and that's no bullshit. Blowing out onto that field. Those antelope are directly downwind of me. So, they haven't ran off. We are knocked, locked, and loaded. I got several of those hanging on the wall, and the only way you're going to up the ante is let those walk. But I advise the first-time antelope hunters, or second time far as that goes, these are shooter bucks. They look like they're headed right to the decoys. They are really headed. I know they spotted these decoys and they started coming in pretty fast. For you people that want to know what hunting is, this is hunting. This is not killing. This is controlling your urge to kill, but yet honing your hunting skills. Each step that buck gets closer to those decoys is just so enlightening. I think our decoys worked. Those were within 30 yards of the blind. You seen it right along with us, and it was so much more enjoyable to let that go by without shooting one. Number one, is you could have a chance of going through one hitting another, but they didn't spook and run. They're still right out there, and it's right at 5 o'clock. Ridgemaster Outfitters, Chuck Carrington, the Ridgemaster. He'll get you on an antelope. You see what we did? We shrunk this giant alfalfa field down over probably 400 yards at least. And those decoys help pull those buck antelope into with 30 to 35 yards of us, and that's holding them up here. So that's pretty cool. And I didn't really know what the antelope were going to do when they got up here, but they did give them the once over, that's for sure. They didn't spook off of them. That's the main thing. When I looked over there and seen that one, I thought, oh, there's an antelope. Gave me a heart attack. I was looking right at the blind. Notice how small a tail they got. But if they get excited, they flare that tail or that rump, and it like stands up, and it's like twice the size of what it is right there. And it can be seen readily across the prairie, but very small tails. I can hear Jimmy coming. So let's see what these bucks do when the rancher comes by. Like I said, you got to keep in mind that this is a working ranch. Yeah, they skipped a little bit, and that's what's going to happen. They didn't run off. They didn't run from you. They ran from the vehicle, and so be mentally prepared for that. That they didn't run clear off the field. They just moved back a little bit, and it looks like they may run back up. They're not overly alarmed. They've seen vehicles before, so they're just standing there. And Jimmy, as you can hear in the background, keep right on motoring. And this is a good lesson for you, because you see, you didn't see a mass exodus. Goes Jimmy up the road. So, you got to learn some stuff today. It's not all about blow staff and personalities. You got to actually see real field time, real hunting, and the things that can go right and the things that can go wrong. So, and this by no means, I had no idea what those bucks were going to do when the vehicle come. But they're still in the field. Yeah, what I think we just witnessed tonight is an age group of bucks. They'd be like 2.5 years old. There was only 2 small does on this field. And I think what's happened is the bigger bucks have harried up with the does and ran these 2.5 years olds off. So they have nothing left to do but come to the green field. Because when they get around the does, the big bucks put the run on them. And with that said, I want you to understand, I've been hunting antelope since 1992. That's 26 years. I've taken my fair share of bucks in different situations. But these bucks would have been nice bucks to take, especially if it's your first time out here. Forget about high scoring, whatever the garbage is out there. I know all the scoring tactics. I score an antelope. But your first antelope with a bow and arrow is a trophy that you'll never forget. So just because I let them go by, I'm not any better hunter than you, but I have harvested that age group before. That's that screwed up buck. One antler going forward and one antler going backward. If he comes around here, I'm going to take him out. He's really a neat buck in a way. One antler or one horn goes forward and one goes backward. Sort of like me. Definitely non-typical. Now you can really see how that configuration is. Well, he's about 50 yards right there. So he's safe with me. Here comes that screwed up one. I hit him. Well, he hit hard. Here's what he was looking at. He was looking at those two decoys. He stopped, and that's when I hit him. And how it was, the arrow come in and angled forward, and he didn't go 100 yards. But there was the decoys that we just bought today, and he was standing there staring at him. And like I said, well, you seen the arrow hit. Look at the entrance hole. I knew it was a little far back. I wanted to hear he was quartering away, but it got a little bit far back. But look at the exit. I know that's graphic, but it entered a little farther back than I wanted. But it came out double-lunged. One antler going backward, one going forward. The non-typical Norwalkian strikes again. What a non-typical buck to be taken back to Iowa. They don't get any more stranger than that. At Ridgemaster Outfitters, Chuck Cheriton out of Casper, Wyoming. Mr. Ridgemaster, that's the man to come to see. You seen first action. I held off on, I told you I wanted to take this one. And he stood there and looked at the decoy, and that gave me that quartering away shot, but it was a little farther back than I wanted. But the exit took everything out. I stand here at the Antelope. As you look back there, you can see the corner of the blind right there. I'm going to step that off, just see how far he went. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 78, 79, 80 yards. Right there was the blind, and he didn't go. He was standing there looking at those decoys, and he got 80 yards up there. It's the last night too. Wow. We're done again.
Yes, we did.
You talk about last minute. It don't get no last minute, does it?
It's pushing the time, buddy.
And that was really awesome. And I told you I would hang tight, and this one come up. This non-typical guy. You don't get them very often.
No, you don't.
And I seen him the other day, and to get him at the last, he's not that big, but I'll tell you what, you won't find one like that in any parade.
He's beautiful.
And that's what I wanted, something unique, you know, different. But it got him on film, and what got him hooked up was he stopped and looked at those decoys. You seen him?
Yeah.
You know? And when I shot, he was quartering away, and I thought I got a little too far back, which it did come out back. But boy, where it exited, it put it on the money.
it hurt him bad.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful, you know. You happen to leave first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
You're spending your time and turning those bucks down to help me get a video, help us both get a video,
and the public to see how the reaction to the decoying. You know, they stared at him, and that's what cost this guy his life.
Yep.
Because he stopped, squatted, staring at him, dropped the hammer.
Beautiful, beautiful antelope, Don.
Yeah. 26 years with this man. You want to book a quality hunt, elk, mule deer, antelope, whatever. Chuck Cheriton, hands down, the man to see. And that you can take that for a fact from the non-typical Norwalkian with the most non-typical antelope headed to Iowa that you ever going to see. What more appropriate, a non-typical antelope for the non-typical Norwalkian?
I really didn't expect anything less.
Get a hold of Chuck and get your hunt booked for 2019. That's it from the non-typical Norwalkian with the non-typical antelope.